Welcome to the Corona Diaries. My name is Rivers Langley, and once again, sitting here chilling by myself. Both of my co-hosts are now quarantining due to potential exposure to the coronavirus. So it sucks, but it's part of life now, and we've got phones, and so we're going to be talking to Carter today and Sam and Carter tomorrow. But we got Carter coming up first. And then at the end of this show, we're going to be hearing from a professional wrestler, my friend Darwin Finch. He is one of the superstars of the Brian Kendrick's Wrestling Pro Wrestling, which I do commentary for alongside Dr. Pat and past guest of the show, Eric Barnes. It has genuinely been one of the most fun things that I've done comedy-wise, if you even want to call it that, since moving to Los Angeles. And you can check out everything we've done, youtube.com/wrestling pro wrestling. Everything is up there. It's hilarious, even if you're not a big wrestling fan. I mean, there's a gigantic three-headed giraffe named King Giraffadora who fights. So you're going to like it. It's a total freak show. Darwin is one of the non-costumed athletes. He is the punk rock Poindexter. He's just a really nice guy and also a hell of a hand in the ring. He's really, really fun to watch. And so we're going to be talking to him about the state of wrestling, something we haven't really chatted about in a while, but one of my favorite subjects. And in between talking to Carter and talking to Darwin, I've got another poetry corner. As I said last time, it's like Writer's Almanac with Garrison Keillor, except I'm not a creep. And this time I'm reading In the Desert by Stephen Crane, and I wrote kind of an essay about American conservatives to kind of go around to that poem. So I don't know. Hope you like it. Tweet at me if you like the poems and the essays and stuff like that, because I have a good time writing them. They're pretty fun. Let's see what else to talk about. If you haven't done this, I usually say this at the end of the show, but I'm going to say it at the top of the show this time. We just got, I think 3 or 4 new ratings over at Apple Podcasts. If you haven't done that, if you like the show, it takes 5 seconds. Go to Apple Podcast, rate, review, and subscribe. And now, let's talk to Carter and then Darwin, and then a little poetry in between. A little poetry sandwich today on the Corona Diaries. Chris D'Elia, canceled. Danny Masterson, arrested as fuck.
Just saw that one like a second before signed on that Danny Masterson's canceled too. Or he's been canceled, but now he's like arrested.
He's canceled in the legal way. Where he's no longer allowed physical liberty.
I think when people get like the electric chair, that's like the ultimate form of getting canceled. That's like you're super canceled. If you get lethal injection, ooh, there's no going back from that cancellation.
No, sir.
There's no working at a shoe store after getting lethal injection. You know what I mean? There's no giving up on your dreams.
I mean, the thing is, like, if for some reason you're like a really terrible person and you're worried about these two, don't worry, because Chris D'Elia was already rich and Danny Masterson's a Scientologist, so he'll always have a place to work once he gets out of jail.
Right. I mean, the Chris D'Elia thing, it's really become quite the shooting gallery on Twitter and such.
Oh, yeah, it's been great.
Who can rush to market with the best jab? It's like the same couple of punchlines, but who can get to the same punchline the quickest? Which is basically like the worst thing you can assume is that he was ever a comedian, or like it's like make a joke about his comedy that he plays pedophiles pretty much in anything he's in.
I saw a lot of variations on Chris Deleted.
Ooh, I haven't seen that one. That's good.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those. That's one of those where you think of something like that and you're like, ooh, I guess I'm going to go ahead and check and see if someone's already made that joke, and then you find like 20 of them and you're like, ah, shit.
Yeah, I always feel that way with Twitter. I'm like, I think I just had a brilliant idea, and then I give it one cursory look. I'm like, oh, like 30 people have done that before me, so never mind. I'm wondering who's vehemently defending him, who's listened to his comedy. I haven't, so I can't really attest to it.
Well, I was telling you when you, me, and Joe were texting earlier that Neil Brennan decided to lash himself to the mast of that fucking sinking ship, so he's going down too.
No. Yeah,
he was like, oh, if you can prove to me that Chris D'Elia raped you, I will donate this amount of money to, Rain. And it's like, how about you just donate it anyway, you piece of shit?
A lot of people are threatening about fighting for charity and shit like that. And it's like, here's the thing. If I beat the shit out of you, I'll donate to charity. Or if it prove me wrong and I'll donate. Like, just donate to charity. Like, why are you threatening to donate to charity? Just do it. Like,
well, yeah, because it's like it's become like a defensive position. Like, the best way to prove that you've been defeated is to donate to charity. That's the ultimate sign.
They should make the stakes real. Like, they should make it like, here's the thing. If you prove me wrong, then I'll quit comedy. If you prove me wrong, I will turn down the next huge movie I'm offered. Don't threaten donating to charity. Just donate to charity.
I guess I wanted to mention this while I've got people listening. I've got the bully pulpit, as it were. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw this thing I tweeted, Carter, but my friend Sean, who is one of my best friends, he lives up in Milwaukee with his wife and kids. He showed his son the film Jurassic Park for the first time. Mm-hmm. That movie really, as we talked about in the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom Patreon episode we did, that movie affected me pretty deeply. I still love it. It gave me an interest in paleontology, as it did many kids. But my friend Sean showed the movie to his son, who's about to turn 5.
Right.
And his son took away from the film an abiding love of cherished American comedic actor Wayne Knight.
Oh, Newman.
That's what he got out of the movie. Like, he loves fucking Newman.
That was my first exposure to Newman too. Before Seinfeld, for sure, was him going, Dotson. Yeah. We got Dotson here.
His kid loves it.
Oh, it's that unearthly squeal he lets out when Dotson shows him.
Yeah.
What is it, DNA or something?
Yeah, it's the canister. He's like, and you can even pull out the bottom. It's the coolant, the Barbasol can that he's going to put the DNA in.
Yeah, it's like, Fwee!
Or the embryos.
And like the pressure releasing of the embryos and his squeal coalesce into one high pitched kind of release noise.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, viable embryos. They're no use to us if they don't survive.
Oh, how am I supposed to transport them?
Bottom screw's open.
It's great. Oh, you God.
It's cooled and compartmentalized inside.
Oh, you God, so that's great.
Customs can even check it if they want to.
Let me see.
Go on. There's enough coolant inside for 36 hours.
No menthol?
The embryos have to be back here in San Jose by then.
Every time that noise plays in a rerun of that movie, an angel comes, I think, is how that goes.
So Sean was telling me, his son, his favorite song now is Nedry Steals the Embryo from the Jurassic Park soundtrack, which is just it's the music that's playing when he's actually stealing the embryos from the visitor center.
Yeah.
and so his kid listens to that song over and over. He watches Jurassic Park every day, and he also found out that Wayne Knight is the voice of the villain in Toy Story 2. So now he's watching Toy Story 2 every day too. He is absolutely obsessed with Wayne Knight.
Well, I mean, I think there comes a time in every young boy's life where they have a Wayne Knight period, and
yeah, I think most kids go through a thing where it's it's the obvious. It's like Batman, He-Man, Transformers, Wayne Knight, and then Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's most kids.
Yeah, that's most kids. I mean, Wayne Knight now he's slimmed up, but he's still got that Wayne Knight swagger.
Yeah. Well, so what I'm going to try to do, and I'm hoping everybody listening will help me out in this. I want Wayne Knight to record a birthday greeting for my friend's son's birthday. My friend Sean, his boy turns 5 on July 2nd, and I want everybody to retweet the tweet that I made about Wayne Knight and tag Wayne Knight in the retweet. His handle is @the letter I, Wayne Knight. I think that would be cool as shit, because really, at this point...
I mean, he's on Cameo, right?
No, he's not.
Really?
Wayne Knight is a respected Broadway thespian. He would not lower himself into that cesspool.
Yeah, you're right. That's kind of like a Jesse James kind of Bam Margera inhabited Like, the man's getting work. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
not just that. He's got Seinfeld money, baby. That motherfucker is fine.
oh, yeah. He's living a Larry David-esque existence in Florida, I guess.
Yeah, well, he's out. I mean, he's out here. I've been watching his tweets and stuff. He doesn't tweet that often, so we have to kind of catch him the next time he
Smart man.
The next time he tweets. Yeah, for real. Yeah, that means that Wayne Knight is happy as hell, man. He's probably just sitting around doing nothing and not looking at his goddamn phone. So good on you, Wayne Knight.
When you see someone's Twitter page and their first page is just by the hour, then that's not a happy person.
No.
Like, that's not, that is a very scared, sad person.
Yeah. I've been watching like interviews with Wayne Knight. I'm trying to determine if this is a guy who would actually do this. You know, like, is this a guy who would maybe be willing to record a birthday greeting? And based on the interviews, man, he seems cool as shit. I'm not gonna lie. He seems like a guy who I would probably have a very similar attitude to Wayne Knight if I was in his position.
That's cool. I'm glad he's a good guy.
Yeah, he seems cool. And frankly, and I'm not just saying this because I want something from him. I do mean this. Let us not have this 90s nostalgia wave pass us by without giving Mr. Wayne Knight his flowers. That guy is a fucking icon.
Oh, he's Newman. He's the guy from Jurassic Park. He's in Space Jam. I mean, Christ, you know?
He's in Toy Story 2, Space Jam. He's in Rat Race. I forgot about that one. That movie is hilarious.
He's in Rat Race. He's touched all of our lives.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of, like, people who are more iconic for less stuff than Wayne Knight. You know what I mean? Like, he's been a working actor forever. He was in Basic Instinct. You know, he's in a bunch, JFK. He's in a bunch of,
Did you ever see Basic Instinct?
I have, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's in the scene of Basic Instinct.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like the only scene that anyone talks about.
Yeah. And not only that, I found out that Steven Spielberg actually, he was the first person cast in Jurassic Park after Steven Spielberg saw Basic Instinct. Spielberg got so horned up for Sharon Stone's nether regions,
right,
and then he saw the sweaty fat guy and was like, that man needs to be in my dinosaur movie.
Like America did. Remember, that was like all it took to like, just like Sharon Stone uncrossing her legs was like, that was the biggest thing that happened in America that entire year.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Hicks had bits about it and shit.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
I mean, I guess we just live in a different time now.
Yeah.
It's like the Titanic going down when she uncrossed her legs, and it's like, Steven Spielberg remembered that, and he was like, you know what? People associate you with an iconic moment in American history. Yeah. He's like one of those kind of actors where you're like, you can totally see why he'd be an actor. He's got like such a look and such a way about him. But it's also like maybe right place, right time. But it's like, no, he probably has been in a bunch of shit too, which is interesting to hear about the theater stuff. I can see him being a good theater actor. That's what kind of got into it.
Well, I watched some interview with him and Jason Alexander together being interviewed.
Yeah,
and they're both like Broadway guys. Like that's where they both came out of.
Yeah,
and then they just kind of got sucked into this like weird world of sitcoms and shit like that. But he's a real ass actor.
Broadway is the place where like very charismatic, small, chubby men can like be leading men.
Yeah.
If you can sing and shit and you have a voice that reaches the back of the room.
Yeah, that's where Philip Seymour Hoffman came out of, too.
Same shit. Short, chubby man who rules.
Yeah. We should get into Broadway.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, shit. Well, I think we're too tall.
Oh, yeah,
That's the thing. Like tall, chubby is like stand up.
Like, That's right. Tall,
chubby's stand up. Short, chubby, Broadway. And then like short, skinny is like hottest actor ever.
Yes.
Tall and skinny is like...
They don't need any of this.
Yeah, like you don't need validation. Everyone just loves you because you're an Adonis.
You're a lighthouse, that people look to in the storm.
You don't need like terrible like craving validation.
No.
And, honestly, you're probably a Republican. And fuck you. Just kidding. Kidding. To all my skinny, tall, beautiful brothers out there. I'm just playing.
But anyway, that's my little pitch. I hope everybody will find that tweet. I'll pin it to my profile and retweet it at @IWayneKnight, and let's try to get a damn video message for the young man who is his biggest fan.
For the Waynster. Yeah, absolutely. Most people, if they're like, I bet like those Make-A-Wish people, they're so tired of hearing like, make me a member of, I guess now it'd be like, make me a member of Odd Future or something like that. And they're like,
Odd Future?
Or I don't know. It'd be like, make me a member of One Direction. And they'd be like, And they'd be like, let me meet Wayne Knight. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
That's doable. See, now you're working with me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you working with me on that.
I think it's the funniest like kid quirk I've ever heard.
I respect the hell out of it. I hope the kid had said, I want a birthday greeting from character actor Wayne Knight.
Yeah.
It like specified it.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I think it's just charming as hell. So yeah, let's tweet at Wayne Knight. Let's get this shit going.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, I got a follow-up from yesterday. We spoke about the situation in Belgium where they took down a statue of the awful racist shithead king Leopold II. And now I have a follow-up. And also have another little story that's along the same lines. So last weekend, the statue of King Leopold II in Antwerp was painted red by a crowd before subsequently being lit on fire. Mm-hmm. After the removal, in a jaw-dropping interview, Belgian Prince Laurent, the brother of King Philippe, attempted to defend his colonialist grandfather, King Leopold II. So now the Prince of Belgium is weighing in. He says, quote, he never himself went to the Congo. I don't see how he could have made people there suffer. Just look at what Leopold II did for Belgium. He had parks built in Brussels and many other things.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you build a park and stuff, I mean...
We can forgive 15 million dead Africans for your park.
I mean, have you been to the park? Oh, Jesus. It's like, what's it to you? Just take the fucking statue down.
Yeah.
He's a murderer. He's a racist murderer. Take it down.
So that's in Belgium. Now I want to move to France by way of the most obvious place, Kentucky.
Right, yeah. I think there's a connecting flight in Louisville to Paris.
Yeah. Louisville, Kentucky was founded in 1778 and named for King Louis XVI of France. And there is a statue of King Louis XVI in the middle of downtown Louisville. And at the end of May, a protester jumped up on the statue's pedestal, and basically he was trying to kind of give a speech, I guess, or yell something, and he was grabbing the outstretched hand of Louis XVI, like on the statue. Mm-hmm. And after a couple minutes, video shows the protester pulling just a little too hard, and Louis's entire hand comes off, and the protester falls to the ground with the hand of the statue. And the protester's fine, but like it broke clean off, and now this statue doesn't have a hand.
Yeah.
And so the day after this, the vandalism of King Louis' statue caught the attention of actual presumed blood relative of the man himself, a guy in France by the name of Louis Alphonse of Bourbon, who is recognized by France's most psychotic royalists as the rightful successor to the French crown. And supposedly he is a descendant of King Louis the 16th through the male side of his family all the way up to the 21st century. Louis Alphonse said on Twitter, quote, as the heir of Louis XVI, I am attached to the defense of his memory. I do hope that the damage will be repaired and that the statue will be restored. I already thank the authorities for the measure that they will take for that. While Louis XVI is not necessarily any better or worse than any other monarch of his day as far as like race relations goes. Yeah. This also happened to be an accident. If you watch the video, like, they spray painted the base of the statue, but they spray painted fucking everything. And then when the hand came off, you can clearly see it's just because the guy put his weight on it and it just came down. So first of all, fuck you for being mad about it. Second of all, the funniest line here is he goes, I am attached to the defense of his memory. Which is funny because my memory of Louis XVI is that everyone loved him so much they chopped his fucking head off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to keep a piece of him with you. Think of it like a t-shirt, the ultimate t-shirt. When you love someone so much, you want to have their head somewhere in your house.
Speaking of that, man, when they chopped his head off and it went into the basket and all the blood started raining down, the crowd, supposedly, a lot of them took off their shirts and dipped it in his blood and turned it into a flag, and then they paraded through the streets.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. When Louis's head came off, man, a lot of people got naked and like ran around the streets with their bloody clothes on a stick.
Whoa.
He was not well liked, is my point. The memory of him is not a good one.
I didn't know that King Louis got beheaded in the streets.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What other, like, popular monarch or monarch that history has somewhat kindly remembered was beheaded?
Charles the First of England was
Henry, right? Wasn't Henry the Eighth?
No, he had a bunch of his wives beheaded. He lived. I believe he died of. I think he had syphilis. Like I think he went kind of nuts towards the end there. I don't know if that's what killed him, but he had an Al Capone like ending.
He's the last famous person you've heard of that died from being rendered insane by syphilis.
I think it's Capone, man. It's got to be.
Capone?
It's got to be. Yeah, because I mean, after that, they pretty much cured it. After that era.
What a time to be alive.
I actually had a quote that I pulled from a first-hand description of Louis's execution. Louis tried to give a speech, but the noise of the drums made this difficult to understand. He was then laid on the bench, the collar closed over his neck, and then the blade of the guillotine came down. The blade did not sever his neck, but rather cut through the back of his skull and into his jaw. So they turned Louis into a Canadian from South Park.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They literally cut him fucking... Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm not your buddy, friend. I'm not your guy, buddy. Yeah, that's...
I'm not your buddy, guy.
one of the most pleasant aspects of that whole show. Oh, my God. So funny, though.
But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to say to all of the royals on Twitter, keep your eyes on 1791. It's a crucial year to look at for how this might go for you if you don't shut the fuck up.
It might behoove you, yeah. And, stay out of Twitter cancellations. Do not weigh in.
Yeah. Just be a royal and shut up.
Just be a royal, accept your life is better than most people's, and shut up.
It's very simple. Oh, this one's fun. This is a crime story that I feel like I can relate to.
Okay.
Do you know what a Kringle is?
As in Kris Kringle?
No, it's a dessert. Because I actually had never heard of this. I had to look it up. It's a Danish pastry that is a delicacy of specifically in the United States of Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's sort of a braided pretzel-like dough that's arranged in a circle, and then it's got icing on top of it. It looks really good. I want one now. Anyway, that's what you needed to know for this. So, Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin. On Sunday, an officer responded to the America's Best Value Inn and Suites regarding a civil complaint. Dispatch advised that a guest at the hotel, 47-year-old Trevor Rogers, was threatening another guest with a knife. Upon arrival, the officer spoke to the victim, who said that the Kringle in the hallway was for staff and members of the Homeless Assistance Leadership Organization, HALO. Rogers allegedly stopped the victim and asked if the hotel had any coffee or cereal. The victim advised him that they did not, and that the Kringle was for HALO employees and members only. At that point, Rogers pulled out a knife and said, quote, "I will cut you."
There you go.
So they have a nice little, communal cake in the hallway for this homeless association.
Yeah.
And some maniac is like walking down the hall and looking for the continental breakfast. And apparently they don't have continental breakfast, and the cake is for closers only.
You don't advertise that you have it and then not have it. You're basically asking to get stabbed.
This is supposed to be America's best inn and suites. I say it's the worst. Also, I love the quote, "I will cut you."
I will cut you. I will find you, and I will cut you.
I mean, I'm assuming they just left the bitch out of that sentence, because you can't say "I will cut you" without saying bitch first. The phrase is, "Bitch, I will cut you."
Yeah. Don't think I won't, bitch. I will cut you.
If you don't give me that Kringle.
Give me that sweet Kringle. I'm hungry. Daddy's hungry.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. You're not you when you're hungry. That's the ad.
Yeah, instead of turning into Martha Stewart, you turn into a guy with a knife.
Yeah, I just read that story and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think I'd go that far, but I have been almost hungry enough to pull a knife on somebody.
Oh my God. One time, and I love him, but one time my best friend one of my best friends in Birmingham made us wait to eat lunch until 5. And I was seriously considering not being friends with him anymore.
Police later located a small black Harley-Davidson brand folding knife in a backpack in the suspect's room. Rogers was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and use of a dangerous weapon. He is no longer allowed back at America's Best Inn and Suites.
I would say so.
I just love that he was looking for the continental breakfast, and they're like, it's not happening right now. And his first instinct was to pull out a knife.
It's like, well, I could also cut you, or you could just direct me to the cereal. Do you have to prepare cereal, or do you just have it in boxes like everybody else? So give it to me, or I'm going to cut you. No, I get it. I get it. I really do.
Also, I mean, I've definitely been at hotels that didn't have the continental breakfast, and I didn't know that when I checked in, so I was a little pissy about it, but I just did what everybody does, and I went to Hampton Inn and Suites because they've got the good-ass continental breakfast.
Yeah. Every time I've ended up in a hotel that didn't have continental breakfast, I'm either like, A, I can't believe I ended up at a hotel.
Yeah.
Like I was driving somewhere for so long, I just took the first thing that was available.
Yeah.
Or I was like, well, of course they don't have. I mean, for this price, like I'm surprised I didn't get murdered in the middle of the night. Like it's pretty, I'm just happy about the price.
Did you ever see that tweet from a couple of years ago where there was I think it was from like a Quality Inn or something, and there was a dish of mini blueberry muffins on the front desk of the hotel and a sign that said, "In remembrance of those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001, we're offering free mini muffins until 11.
Until 11? It should have been from 9 until 11.
It really should have.
I mean, if you really want to stay on brand,
it's one of my.
If your whole brand is tragedy themed discounts,
it's legit one of my favorite pictures I've ever seen on the internet. It's like you couldn't have done less. In fact, it would if it had been a plate of cigarette butts, that would be better than what you tried to give.
Oh my god, dude, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there will be that kind of half-assed, like, if you think internet slacktivism is bad, wait until you see like people weighing in, like, we're all trying to keep each other safe from COVID, and it'll be like especially at these fucking nothing hotels, you're gonna see shit like that for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got one last story, but before I get into it, I was gonna ask, what do you know about the whale explosion?
Whale explosion? As in an exploding oh, right, like the exploding whale?
Yeah. Do you know about that?
No, I do not. Please inform me.
Good. Okay, so this is a story from Florence, Oregon.
Okay,
and I'm reading this from OregonLive.com. Florence has a new park, and it's named after one of Oregon's greatest triumphs. Welcome to Exploding Whale Memorial Park.
Oh, my God.
November 12th, 1970 is an auspicious day in Oregon history. It is the day that Tanya Harding was born in Portland, and also the day on the Oregon coast that engineers decided to use dynamite to remove the corpse of a massive sperm whale from the beach.
I, weirdly enough, kind of remember this.
Yeah, it's a very famous like YouTube video. We'll put it up on our Twitter at The Goods Pod so you can see it. The story of it is so goddamn funny. There's actually a great episode of the Dollop podcast where they tell the entire story of the whale explosion. Oregon, of course, would never be the same. Harding would go on to be one of the greatest ice skaters in history, and the pieces of blubber that fell from the sky that day, not neatly disintegrating, but instead raining down in massive chunks on bystanders and destroying nearby vehicles, would live on in generations of Oregonians' minds, a memory of the best botched whale removal Oregon has ever seen.
That's right. Different time to be alive. It was like their summer of 69 was the great whale explosion.
Yeah. The summer of 69 came 1 year too late. Florence, near where the whale, or as KATU reporter referred to it as the time, quote, a stinking whale of a problem washed up, is finally honoring this beautiful moment in history with a new park.
That's good shit.
It was the people of Florence who picked the name Exploding Whale Memorial Park. Quote, we asked the community for name suggestions, narrowed down those 120 plus names to 9, and had the community vote on them. It's either got to be Exploding Whale Park or Whale Explosion Park. Those are the only two things.
Or what about just Whale Park? Could be that. That sounds like an actual park as opposed to exploding whale place.
Well, you gotta mention it. You know, people gotta know. I want to go now.
Yeah, you're right. That is more of a draw.
Yeah.
No, I do get that. That is definitely more of a draw if you're like, a whale exploded here, because then the kids are going to go off looking and be like, oh, maybe there's still pieces around or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Whale Explosion Park, I would visit. I would.
But yeah, if you've seen that video, I mean, it's a pretty funny story. Essentially, they thought they could, put a shitload of dynamite next to this whale carcass, and it would sort of explode it out to sea, and it would be these big chunks, and the seagulls would eat it. And it turned out it just rained down gigantic chunks of blubber. Like there was a car in the parking lot that was completely flattened by whale fat. Like
That's fantastic.
It's a fucking disaster. It is so funny to watch, though, if you watch it on YouTube.
I think more things should be handled this way.
Yeah, well, that is sort of the American way, right? It's like, all right, we have a big problem. What are we going to do? We could blow it up. Like, all right, that sounds badass.
Yeah, that sounds good. And we have a shit ton of dynamite, so let's do it.
Well, before we go, speaking of badass and America.
Yes. Oh, yes. I know what you're going to talk. I know what you're saying. Absolutely.
Some might call this going back to the well. I say, fuck you. This is what we're doing today. It is the jam of the day. American Badass by Kid Rock.
Fucking A, dude. Some might say Sad But True by Metallica. To which I say, you are too discerning about your stripper anthems. One is much more of a call for our boys in blue. Or our boys who serve the red, white, and blue. That's our troops. Because troops love this song.
They really do.
Marines love this song. Marines love going to strip clubs that are playing this song. Marines love doing Oxycontin to the song. They love this song.
Oh my God. Yeah. So we went through the comments on the two versions of American Badass that are on YouTube. One of them is the official version, aka the pussy ass edited version.
Boo.
And then also the dirty explicit version, which a lot of people complained they still bleep out the phrase, I'm blowing up like Oklahoma. It's not funny, Kid Rock. Don't make fun of the Oklahoma City bombing, Kid Rock. It's not cool.
That was more of a knowing reference than I'm going to paint his town red and paint his wife white. It took me years to realize, oh, he means he's going to, like, come all over his wife. That is good.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, let's dive into the comments here. This first one is from Chuck Norris Approval, who says, if SEAL Team 6 can listen to this before kill Osama bin Laden, then you can too.
It's a weird thing to think that someone would have killed to the tune of Kid Rock's American Badass.
The least dignified way to die.
Seriously, I'd rather be killed to the fucking birthday song than this.
I was going to say, I'd rather be pleading for my life as I was dunked under shit in an open sewer than die listening to this.
The last thing you hear is, American Badass! I guess his theory is because he was originally a rapper that he can take, like, whole songs from people and, quote, sample them. You know what I mean? So he, like, it's like him, like, that's why he did it with, Werewolves of London and
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama and with Sad But True. But it's like, at a certain point, although he is rapping in this one, at a certain point he wasn't even rapping anymore. He was just singing new lyrics over those songs.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, it's just thievery. It's just out and out thievery, and it's just dumbed down for people who, like, I don't know, like, for people who just can't handle, like, any mention of London.
It's fucking Kids Bop for morons.
It's Kids Bop for morons. It's like, you could just listen to Warren Zevon, who rules.
Yeah, or Lynyrd Skynyrd, who rules.
Or Lynyrd Skynyrd, or Metallica, who maybe not in that era, but rules.
Yeah. I made the joke on this podcast many, many years ago that that song all summer long is proof that Kid Rock actually has a bifurcated penis because he can pee on two graves at one time. Those being Ronnie Van Zant and Warren Zevon.
Wow, that is good. He does. And also because he's had many Prince Alberts in his lifetime, and those corrode the lining of your penis head.
Here's another comment. JJ John says, When the terrorists damaged USS Cole left port in Yemen, it was blasting this over the ship's loudspeakers.
Oh, God. It was the Godsmack awake of its time. When, like, butt rock was truly the anthem of the military, which I think it still is, but it's, like, exclusively military music now. Like, butt rock isn't, like, popular. It's not on the charts anymore, but it's, like, stripper and military music.
It's stripper, military, and pro wrestlers.
For sure. Absolutely. Although nu metal, as we've talked on this podcast before, has had its little resurgence in, like, niche popularity or, like, nostalgia popularity. I think nu metal has to a degree. But
yeah, or just in the T-shirts of hip rappers.
Yeah, but Kid Rock has opted out of nu metal nostalgia by going full
reactionary shithead country bullshit.
Precisely, yes, precisely. By pure conservative dickheadery, he has opted out of the 99 nostalgia nu metal boom.
Speaking of which, Matt Carmen says, America is back in 2020. We don't start fights, but we will end them.
God, yeah, for sure. Like, when we're done exploding and imploding and dying from sickness, we're going to start a fight.
We're going to be so good at fighting, you just watch.
Oh, speaking of which, as to how it applies today, I found one from Jiggly Stick. And it says, who else is listening to Kid Rock during quarantine? And then, to which a couple people said, at first someone was like, dog, haha, I thought it was just me. And then someone else goes, Jiggly Stick, man, at least once a week. He knows. It's like that kind of what everyone was doing in quarantine when they were just binging through their shows in Netflix. It's like you gotta kind of tantric sex yourself Sting style. You can't just blow all your Kid Rock in one week. You got to do it once a week. And then someone said the song would be better if they used their own beat instead of Metallica's. So there's some spelling there, some punctuation.
There was a lot of people mad that this is a Metallica song. That was the main thing I saw, is people just being like, listen to the real thing, assholes.
Well, yeah, because Metallica is also a shithead band.
Right, yeah. Why are y'all fighting?
Oh, yeah. Like, I love Metallica. They're much more redeemable than Kid Rock. But they're a shithead band.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
I mean, they're one of the greatest metal bands that has ever existed, but they're a shithead band.
Believe me, there is nothing wrong. I love Van Halen. They're a shithead band. I love Metallica. They're a shithead band. Motorhead's kind of a shithead band. You can like shithead bands. It's okay. My
best friend had this idea, and I only say it because I would never want anyone else to steal it. He had this idea for a radio show called Straight F's, and it was just bands that people who make straight F's in high school would listen to. And he was like, Metallica all fucking day. It would be like Metallica, death metal, and like, I think he said like horrorcore rap. Like, he had like a bunch of great shit on there.
Oh, you'd have to have like Slightly Stupid, Cottonmouth Kings, 311, like that stoner reggae metal bullshit.
Sure, the Lil White, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Shotgun Tiffy says, I seriously want this played at my funeral. LOL. Heart emoji, kiss emoji, 100 emoji.
100 emoji. If you're at someone's funeral and they were playing American Badass by Kid Rock,
I would love it. I would be like,
he really was the funniest guy I ever knew.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Especially if you play the version that goes, oh, you can roll with rock or you can radio edit. Yeah, you got to play that version, but then somehow the rest of it be unbleeped.
Yeah.
You keep the one radio edit, but then the rest of it, needs to be the real cusses.
Well, yeah, because no one needs to hear or you can suck my dick. You know what I mean? Like, that would be...
Yeah. No.
I think he understood. That would be rather gauche.
Yeah, not at a funeral.
Yeah, not at a funeral. Come on, guys. Here's one. It says, United States Marine Corps anthem on the battlefield, stepping off war machines onto foreign land, courtesy of Kid Rock.
Oh, no.
And then it just says, loudly.
Why the adverb at the end there?
I don't know. And then two frowny faces.
Along similar lines, Javo MTZR says, we need to send this to North Korea.
Yeah, we should just like we should email them
A copy of the album Cocky.
on their Facebook. Drop down drop a link to the song American Badass to the Facebook of the country of North Korea.
Yeah, put it on their MySpace wall. This one kind of along the same lines as the last one I just read, and I love the name. Raphael, a.k.a. Cranjus McBasketball.
Cranjus?
Cranjis. Cranjis? Maybe it's Cranjis and the J is silent?
Heavens.
Anyway, Cranjus McBasketball says, play this once we reach Iran.
Oh, God. That's good. Here, I got one for you. This is by Pitrick. Boobs and rock music, the complete perfection. It's like, what kind of English as a fifth language? Boobs and rock music is complete perfection. Yeah.
I got kind of a novel here from Brittany Jackson. Says, love you, rock. I remember when this song first came out, my boys and I were blasting it as loud as we could with the windows down in my lifted up truck with our dirt bikes in the back on our way to go rip up some nasty back country in the middle of the mountains. Those were the good days, man. Now most of my friends are gone from one thing or another. A lot of motorcycle accidents. Sounds like that is a risk in your behavior. And the rest from just life, I guess. They went too damn young, regardless. Anyhow, sometimes when I get a little time to myself, I still sit back, close my eyes, and put this song on. It brings back the good times, if only for a few minutes at a time. R.I.P. to my crew.
I am American Badass.
Right, which sounds sweet until you consider, you could roll with rock or you could suck my dick.
Yeah, it sounds sweet until it's on the comment page of American Badass by Kid Rock. And then you're like, God, this is a very perverse joke.
T. Lopez says, and this might be the winner here, I'm sick of PC millennial baby telling me no more rock music, baby. I'm sick of the liberal time in country here, America. Let me say the N-word.
Oh, no. Let me say it. Of course there's no punctuation in any of this. I'm sick of PC millennial baby telling me no more rock music, baby. I'm sick of the liberal time in country here, America. Let me say the N-word. Just let me say it. Yeah. Oh, God. That's no good. Well, I think that really does get to the essence of the song.
Let me say the N-word.
He's like screaming, just let me say it, please.
I just want to say the N-word.
I always have. Please let me say the N-word. No, Kid Rock, no. But now he's surrounded himself with a bunch of white people who love saying it, so he feels better.
Oh, yeah. Him and Hank Jr., that's all they do.
Yeah, that's good.
Justin Robinson says, I love this song. This song is the shit. I like this vision. I don't like the vision that does not have cursing in the song. I rather this vision to listen to be honest, and I love how the end goes. This song, though, 2020, still listening to this amazing song, American Badass, American Flag, American Flag, American Flag, American Flag.
Very indicative.
Michigan Strong took to Lansing, and I assume that's a reference to the COVID protests in Lansing. Took to Lansing. Fuck all of you. You're welcome, fuckers. We sent you Kid Rock. He's out of Michigan, bastards.
Oh man, has this been converted into an ALM anthem, American Badass, perhaps, or even like an Open Ruby Tuesdays kind of anthem?
I want a haircut. Open up the nail salon.
Oh man,
this one is from a different person named Brittany Jackson.
Interesting.
So there was that long one with the motorcycle, and then there's this Brittany Jackson says, Gen Xers in the house. Let's give the next generation a big fuck you.
This woman's in her 40s, I guess? 40s or 50s?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, yeah, that's the song of the day, American Badass by Kid Rock. Carter, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Carter_Glasscock, Twitter and Instagram.
I'd like to cut your head off so I can weigh it. What do you say? 5 pounds, 6 pounds.
I'm going to read In the Desert by Stephen Crane. It's a very short poem, but it's one of my all-time favorites. I also want to talk about his book, the big one. Stephen Crane is one of those artists like John Keats or Jimi Hendrix. He died very young and still managed to leave behind a body of work that must be included in the canon alongside the most prolific and long-lived of his contemporaries. He's obviously best known for The Red Badge of Courage, which was published when he was only 22. Crane's book was a massive success in England. It was actually the attention of the English audience that caused many Americans to view the novel with renewed enthusiasm, catapulting the young Crane into international literary prominence. Now that I'm saying it out loud, that part is pretty much exactly the Jimi Hendrix story. Anyway, the book went on to be an American classic, and in many ways, the evolutionary antecedent to that famed lost generation of modernist writers, so shell-shocked by the horrors of the Great War that they came out of the trenches and made some of the best art of their century. The Red Badge was deemed so era-appropriate that in 1917 they republished the novel right after America put its first boots on the ground in Europe. It sold millions of copies. Needless to say, Ernest Hemingway was a fan. Although interestingly, unlike Hemingway, Crane never actually saw combat with his own eyes. He was born the 14th child of a Methodist preacher at the dawn of the Gilded Age, 6 years after Appomattox. He interviewed real soldiers for the book, but because of his age, he was blessed to peer through that lens with more than a bit of innocence. Ultimately, I think that gave him the stylistic detachment that makes his book so effective in its presentation of the grim details of war as dazed, sometimes surrealistic imagery. In Chapter 6 of The Red Badge, he describes exploding mortar shells as strange war flowers bursting into fierce bloom. It's like running a few of Matthew Brady's Gettysburg prints through one of those Instagram filters set to Van Gogh. Crane fits in with the modernists because of stuff like this. Could well be a technique they copped from him. That said, I could see how this would piss off a reader who was missing an arm from one of those goddamn war flowers. Didn't feel like a fucking flower at Vicksburg. Crane's universe of battle is almost completely indifferent to human existence. Reminds me of the Judge's famous line in Blood Meridian. Makes no difference what men think of war. War endures. As well ask men what they think of stone. War was always here. I suspect McCarthy is a Crane guy too, maybe just a little more stark. Back in 1895, one literary critic tried to compare Crane's writing to that of fellow author Ambrose Bierce. Unlike Crane, Bierce was not only old enough to remember the war, but he actually fought at Shiloh under U.S. Grant and at Kennesaw Mountain under Uncle Billy Sherman. Bierce hated the Red Badge of Courage so much so that he literally called him that Crane freak. Bierce once said the only two writers who'd be worse than Stephen Crane would be two Stephen Cranes. Bitter old codger. Kind of reminds me of Pete Seeger at Newport, standing over Bob Dylan's electric amp with an axe. Don't look back, old man, something might be gaining on you. Crane's poetry collection, Black Riders and Other Lines, was published just 6 months before The Red Badge of Courage. His poems are short and they tend to get a lot less love than his long-form stuff, which is a shame. Reading Crane's poetry is like putting your nose right up to the canvas on a Monet and then slowly walking backwards. At first you see weird smudges, and by the time you're at the other end of the gallery, you're seeing dawn's first light playing off the side of the cathedral at Rouen. Crane has a tendency to give you something cloudy and weird up top, and then quickly pull focus at the end for dramatic effect. Or, sometimes not, as is the case with In the Desert. Do you remember In the Desert? We're here to read In the Desert. Might even read it twice, but here it is. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend? It is bitter. Bitter, he answered. But I like it, because it is bitter, and because it is my heart. That's the poem. I read it 15 years ago in Mr. Thompson's 12th grade English class, and I haven't been able to shake it. I have this poem memorized, and I legitimately think about it at least once every couple weeks. Fuck does it mean? Eating his heart, tastes bitter. He likes it because it's bitter, because it's his heart. When I was younger, I read the symbolism of the heart to mean oneself. The creature's wallowing in his own darkness. A tortured artist, perhaps, holding his own bleeding heart in his hands. His existence, so fraught with self-obsession that he chased away everyone around him, and now he must convince himself that he loves the bitterness. I've met a few people like this, and they obviously don't make great long-term friends. But there's two people in the poem. As the years have gone on, my focus shifted to the narrator. You see a guy eating his own heart, and your first question is, what does it taste like? That's almost weirder than this awful mise-en-scène that you're beholding, isn't it? The creature is naked and on the ground, and Crane has very clearly placed his narrator above him. Keep in mind that Crane is the son of that feckin' Methodist minister. The theory has definitely been floated that perhaps the narrator is God, standing over his favorite creation, man, and rendering that worst form of parental judgment. I'm not mad at you, I'm just disappointed. That said, I don't think the narrator is God. These are both humans, and the weird question about the heart's taste is just because the narrator is simply too stunned to say anything else when he realizes that the beast is just like him. It is what we all have the capacity to become. It's why Marlowe recoils when he meets Mr. Kurtz, sees what he is for the first time. It's why Vader's helmet explodes to reveal Luke's face. Like I mentioned in that Ozymandias intro, the moment you realize that we're all pretty much the same is sublime, beautiful, and horrifying at the same time. Now consider the creature again. What is he at his essence? Alone, isolated, naked, by himself. When I was younger, I assumed this isolation was all his fault. The tortured artist, a dark fucking poet. But maybe that's wrong. What if instead of being the master of his own destiny, the creature found himself in the desert due to circumstances beyond his control, and now he has nothing left to do except eat his own heart? He can do something inflammatory and disgusting. Maybe the heart does represent the self, but why is it bitter? This might be a line, but it's fucking true. It's bitter because it's easier to be angry than it is to admit that you're sad. The desert is obviously Crane's metaphor for loneliness, so now let's take a few steps back from the impressionist canvas and sharpen the focus to here and now. 21st century America. As late capitalism tears its path, dissolving all social bonds, fueled by neoliberal governments that continue to prioritize profits and atomize people politically, this creates not just immiseration, but also isolation. Most people, if they actually analyze their situations, realize that they have little to no control over anything. I think that even those who can't fully take that step back and self-analyze can at least feel what's going on some abstract level, like the pain of a phantom limb. Donald Trump is a huge loudmouth douchebag on social issues, but on paper, he's not done anything radically different from any other regular-ass Republican economically. It's more of the same. Deep down, the creature knows that. He can't stop the modern global economy from grinding his face down in the dirt. He also can't stop the slow march of time. Goddamn kids and their electric scooters. The fuck do they know? Like Bierce or Seeger, it's easy to lash out at the Cranes and the Dylans of the world. Don't look back, old man. Something might be gaining on you. Yeah, sure, they've got their youth, but you know what I can do? I can get mad, I can get bitter, and I can start eating my own heart just to see what you'll do. The creature puts on a MAGA hat. It triggers the libs, and that's the area the creature can affect. He can't bring back the factory that shut down and turned everyone in his town into either an Uber driver or an Herbalife sales rep. But by God, he can get on Facebook and piss off his liberal niece who loves Michelle Obama. He can't get his boss to pay him his overtime because it's a right-to-work state and there's no labor unions, but he can make a big show at Thanksgiving and get asked to leave. He can't afford his wife's chemo, but goddammit, he can not wear a mask in the Kroger and piss off all them smug-ass college kids. It's just people affecting what they can. When they take away everything else, nastiness is all we have left in the desert. I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter." "Bitter," he answered. "But I like it. Because it is bitter. And because it is my heart. Make America great again, you pussy-ass libtard." 5 exclamation points, 5 American flag emojis. No great way to segue into this one. Let's talk to my friend, professional wrestler Darwin Finch. We are now so thrilled to be joined by my friend, the biggest dork in professional wrestling and resident of the awful kingdom of King Desi over there in Monrovia. It's Darwin Finch. How's it going, bud?
Hey, what's crack-a-lackin', Rivers? How you doing? It's been a long time. Did you miss me?
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, I've missed many people.
Okay. Yeah, that's sort of. Sure, we can go with that.
For those listening that might not know, Darwin Finch is a fantastic professional wrestler based out of the LA area and is one of the superstars of wrestling pro wrestling, the insane from the insane mind of the Brian Kendrick. It's supposed to be a monthly live wrestling and comedy show over there at the Moose Lodge in Burbank, but this is the first time that Darwin and I have spoken since the coronavirus outbreak. So yeah, man, I'm just calling to catch up. How have you been?
Hanging in there, man. It's depressing, even just hearing you talk about how we're doing monthly shows in Burbank, and now we're not. It's really wearing on me, but I'm trying to stay positive, trying to stay busy. Well, just hopefully we'll be able to come back eventually.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. I see you got your yoked out shirt, looking like you've been training hard. What's your regimen been over there since we've gone dark? Because mine has pretty much been nighttime walks on the beach because I have turned into a 1,000-year-old woman.
Well, I mean, luckily enough, I do have some things set up here. At my home, I have some weights and a punching bag, and I can go for runs around the neighborhood. So I'm able to keep in shape for the most part, even with the closing of gyms and wrestling rings. Doing the best I can, man.
Yeah, well, that actually leads me to my first question, I guess, because there's been sort of a discussion amongst stand-up comedians as to when is it appropriate, like when is the time to go back, and in your line of work, like what is the appropriate time to get back in the ring, to get back in the gym, like what sign is it going to take for you, a man of science, I should add, to let you know the coast is clear.
Well, right now, I'm watching out for the numbers. I'm looking at what the rates are going to be after all the recent kerfuffle, to put things mildly, and the reopenings of all the bars and restaurants and everything. I know some people are already searching for places to train, but for me personally, I just want to see what happens, probably in about 2 or 3 weeks, and then make my next judgment call from there.
Yeah, I'll say, like, some people that we know that I will remain nameless have been just straight up fucking wrestling. They're just like, fuck it. To use a nerd parlance, they are straight up Leroy Jenkinsing this shit.
Yeah, they are. There's a couple of promotions that have kind of squirreled their way around things. and I don't think it's the greatest idea, but I'm not going to tell anybody how to live their lives.
Well, I wonder if it's not sort of a similar kind of situation to what's been happening in stand-up, because there's been a fairly good amount of stand-up shows that are sort of doing the same thing and, trying to keep it, I guess, better protected by being, outside and socially distanced and all that stuff. But even after the comedy clubs open up, your audience is going to be fairly right-wing for a while.
Yeah. Have you known other other comedians are putting on shows?
Yeah. Well, we talked on this program about a month back or so about a guy who just basically was just like, I'm not letting the government tell me shit. You can come to my fucking place. I'm having an open mic. You're allowed to do 4 minutes and you can say whatever you want because this is America. And and basically just, everybody just kind of made fun of him until he stopped.
You can spit in my mouth while I'm talking.
Oh man, well, I'll send you that episode. We played his he went on this huge rant on Instagram, and we played the whole thing, and it's insane. Like, you actually hear a man's brain come unmoored from his skull. Like, it is so crazy. But yeah, I guess to kind of talk about wrestling a little bit, because obviously, speaking of Leroy Jenkins, the two big companies, AEW and WWE, they're just going for it, and they're granted going for it in probably the most responsible way you could while still honoring television contracts, I guess. But has there been any bright spots for you in the kind of no audience era of wrestling in either of those organizations?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword because you're kind of seeing things that work and don't work with this no crowd wrestling show atmosphere. Before, I think when WWE was first starting off with the no crowds, the people were still doing their poses and gesturing towards the crowd, and there's no crowd.
It was so weird, too.
So it makes the whole thing look pretty darn silly.
Not even just silly, like almost post-apocalyptic in a way, where it's just like it's like Thunderdome or something. You're like, why are we even doing this? This seems crazy.
I think AEW's kind of done it a little bit better with having their own workers in the crowd. It kind of makes it seem a little bit more interesting.
I seriously thought that was like a stroke of genius, because it's a way to even tell more of a story, to have a guy in the ring and then some dude who they don't really have a beef, but you can just have him off to the side just being like, man, this guy sucks, you can it's very kind of inadvertently maybe Attitude Era-y, where sort of the mid-card people could pick fights with the title scene just kind of randomly for like a week, like, he was talking shit and now we're gonna have a fight. Like, I've enjoyed their way of doing it, and I think WWE's starting to do it now too, where they've got, I guess, essential personnel. A little better, yeah. So that Edge and Randy Orton thing that just got I guess it's not done, but that we just saw over the weekend was a little less awkward with 15 people in the crowd as opposed to 0.
Hey, those 15 people were making as much noise as they could. I think they also peppered in some like pre-recorded noise.
Oh yeah,
to make it sound like there was more people.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of championship wrestling from Hollywood shows during the lean times. They definitely did that. Yeah.
It's like the old 70s sitcoms with a fake audience laughing at everything.
yeah. They didn't bother to recycle old crowd noise. Vince was just like, no, we've got this tape library with amazing noises from Memphis in 1982. Yeah, they're just piping it in on a gramophone.
And now we've got the new age of cinematic wrestling, which
great. That's actually was going to be the next thing I was going to ask you. Like, what? Okay. All right. First of all, I think we have to acknowledge up top that everybody owes Matt Hardy everything.
Yes, he does not get enough credit because everybody is just doing his stuff now.
Yeah, the best shit in the industry is just Hardy Compound stuff from 2016 or whenever that was.
Yeah. Both the cinematic fights and also just the really self-aware kind of tongue-in-cheek comedy.
Yeah, well, and plus, in the case of like the Bray Wyatt stuff, deeply weird too, where it's just like,
Yes.
oh, this is for this is for like very deep wrestling nerds and just very deep nerds in general, like all of this stuff.
Just nerds in general. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It had its detractors. And I do understand that even though I enjoyed things like the Funhouse and the Boneyard and the Stadium Stampede, I thought was amazing.
Oh my God, Hangman Page on the fucking horse! You're like, why haven't they done this yet? How many fucking cowboys have there been in wrestling that no one's done the horse thing yet?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Like there's probably been horses that were used aesthetically, but none of them were using horses offensively.
That's true. Nobody chased someone through an arena on a horse.
Yeah. Now the segment where he's dunking Matt Hardy into the jacuzzi was funny because I think I've said on this show before how much I hate like corporate sports arenas and my big example of that, because I love the Los Angeles Coliseum. The Coliseum in LA was built in 1932. It is a straight up concrete ashtray. It's the most egalitarian sort of layout for an arena. There's no luxury boxes. It's just you sit on cement, and if you don't want to sit on cement, you bring a cushion. And fuck you. That's the LA Coliseum. And a lot of those modern stadiums, including the one in Jacksonville where they shot that, I believe, have goddamn jacuzzis in them, which I just see as the height of like, you don't actually give a shit about this at all. Don't come to the game. Fucking sit in the jacuzzi at your house. Why do we need this in the stadium? But goddamn it, if professional wrestling didn't bring me around to the idea just for the one use of it, I'm like, okay, that was worth it. It's so.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed the spot first, and then I went, "Wait, why is there a jacuzzi there?"
Oh, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, you fuckers, you're about to get me here," because I've complained about the dumb jacuzzi. I was like, "You motherfuckers are about to make me love this," and they did. So, have you been watching the Undertaker Last Ride?
Oh, I have not.
Run, don't walk, Darwin. Run, don't walk. My God.
Okay.
I put this up on Twitter. Undertaker made a Jim from The Office face in the last episode. You can't unsee that, it's too weird. It's absolutely too weird. But the whole
worth watching the whole thing for that. Huh?
Oh my God, yeah, no, just it's one of those things where you watch him and you're like, man, this guy is like an incredible storyteller. I would love a podcast, I think, out of the Undertaker, because I want to hear all of his stories. And he low-key hates Hulk Hogan, which is great. But,
sounds like it's not low-key anymore.
Yeah, well, basically, he just told the story of, when they took the belts, they put the belt on him, like, in the early 90s and then gave it back to Hogan, like, really quickly thereafter, because Hogan went to management and complained that, like, Undertaker had, like, hurt him, giving him the tombstone and shit like that. And Undertaker was like, yeah, I for sure didn't hurt that man. Like, I realized I'm holding, he's like, yeah, it's Hulk Hogan. I'm not fucking, I'm not like a 25-year-old kid trying to get fired by destroying the golden goose of the company. Of course I didn't hurt Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Yeah. So, but basically, just proved what most people know, which is like Hogan is completely full of shit. So anyone who can take that guy down is great in my book. And I'm not just saying that because Hogan blocked me on Twitter. I'm actually blocked by Hogan and CM Punk, so I run the whole gamut.
Right.
Yeah.
Cornette as well?
No, not yet.
Really?
I haven't picked.
Everyone's blocked by Cornette.
I know. I haven't picked a fight with Cornette.
Jervis is blocked by Cornette.
Oh, really?
The sweetest man in wrestling is blocked by Jim Cornette.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I have long had fantasies of him reviewing a WPW show. Like,
right? I'm surprised nobody sent him a clip yet.
Because the thing with Cornette is, like, I don't agree with him most of the time, but boy, it's just fun to listen to an old man who's good at yelling yell. Like,
yeah,
you're kind of impressed by it. Like, I loved the Stadium Stampede thing. I thought was genius, but I enjoyed almost as much listening to him yell about it.
Oh, really?
Oh, there's like a 45-minute clip where he literally apologizes to Vince Russo. He's just like, and he's like, I want to say I'm sorry to shit stain Vince Russo because I once said that he produced the worst wrestling I've ever seen, and now I am on my bended knee apologizing to that man because this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness!
And he's
so full of rage.
He's like, I'm so mad I could spit. I don't ever want to talk to Jim Ross again. I don't want to ever talk to Chris Jericho again. I used to respect you guys. Like he was like burning bridges. I was like, dude, this is amazing. It's like seeing an old guy just go Super Saiyan or something. It's fantastic.
I think a dream podcast would be just him and Jim Ross, and you could call it Old Men Yell at Clouds.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. That's really all I want. If somebody's listening to this, let's get the bully pulpit going. Y'all start tweeting WPW clips to Jim Cornette. It's
Yes, please do.
Because he can talk shit. That's what I want. I would. He's obviously not. I don't think he's going to have a whole lot to say about the the chain wrestling skills of the King Giraffadora. So it's just going to be him being mad. But that's what we love. That's what I want.
You don't think he'd appreciate our throwback to the with the Fromage Horseman?
Oh my God! Yeah. And then these fucking idiots with cheese heads come out. There's a fucking unicorn, and they're slapping around a guy with a crown. Just
show one Branzino match, and he's going to.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Someone send him Great Branzino.
Everybody knows he's on his knees.
He's exposing the business. We can see his feet. Oh shit!
The business has long been exposed, Jim. Get over it.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. Well, yeah, I guess I'll ask you what I've been asking everybody I've talked to on the phone, because this is a time in which everybody's pretty much been one of two places, either at home or at the grocery store. And so I've been mining the depths of my friend list for any interesting neighbor or grocery store stories that you may have.
Yeah, you told me this, and I'm still really not thinking of it, other than the fact that I live across the street from our good friend Eric Watts.
Yes, you did tell me this.
You'd think that we would hang out all the time, but apparently I'm just not cool enough.
How long has Watts been? For those that don't know, Eric Watts is an amazing pro wrestler, also based out of California. And just Watts is, what is he, like 6'5"? He's
6'5", 6'6".
He's fucking. He is a huge guy, and
he's giant.
And he's usually he's usually pretty ornery in the ring and stuff like that. And then when you meet him, of course, he's just like the nicest dude ever. But how long has Watts been living across the street from you, and you guys haven't hung out yet?
Oh, I mean, it's not like we've never hung out. I'm just giving him a hard time.
Okay.
But I would say he's probably lived across the street from me maybe 2 years now. So it hasn't been that long. We've always lived in the same town, but then we just happened to move on to the same street within 3 months. And he invited me to his housewarming, and I was like, "You're across the street, man."
Oh, that's great. I was going to pitch to Kendrick sort of a sitcom situation where Watts is just always hanging out at his house doing big guy stuff. I don't know what huge guys do, probably juggling concrete bird baths or something impressive. And then you're across the street. So, and via the nature of your character as a nerdy scientist / inventor, I would have you come to his house in a different contraption every day.
Okay.
Every episode. I've always been obsessed with people who, particularly mobile contraptions, guys who make couch cars and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of what I'm imagining is you're always trying to get him to get on your couch car or chitty chitty bang bang-esque flying contraption.
I made us helicopter packs.
Yeah.
You run on dreams.
You make one of those Leonardo da Vinci helicopters and you actually get it to work. Yeah. And it's just a lot of humor derived of Eric Watts just being like, no, I'm not getting on that.
having to fetch me out of trees when I crash.
Yeah. He just pulls the tree up by its roots and just kind of shakes it. You know?
Shakes me out of it.
Well, yeah, that's nothing weird at any grocery stores or anything like that.
So not at the grocery store, but at my local liquor store, which is down the street. You know, any of those like little bodegas or whatever that, you know, has a little bit of everything in there. And just at the whole start of the pandemic, I had gone in there, you know, just to like grab some adult beverages and some snacks or whatever. And I get up to the counter and, you know, it's my neighborhood store, so they know me. And I was like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? And he's like, you wouldn't believe it. This guy was in here today. And he was trying to buy up the whole store. Like, he was trying to stock up on everything that's in here. And we were like, no, you can't do that, bro. And then from behind me, I hear, yeah, I'm still here.
You're still in there. That's awesome. What all was he trying to get? Like just like candy and liquor and just bullshit?
Like liquor. He was trying, you know, they have like little bit, like just a tiny bit of like actual practical stuff like paper plates and toilet paper.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like I think the guy was trying to take like 8 gallons of milk. You know.
Yeah, that was always funny of people stockpiling milk. I'm like, yeah, you know, milk, that thing that keeps so well.
Right. We need to get all of the milk.
Milk is famously fresh after long periods of time. Yes, go ahead. That reminds me, I don't know if you remember, about a decade ago, and it's still around, but they changed the formula so it's not quite the same. They had a thing called Four Loko.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And they've still got it, but when it was around in like 2010, you know, it had a shitload of caffeine, and you know, it was essentially like, you know, like malt liquor and pre-workout mixed together.
Right. It's like TCP in a can.
Oh my god, yeah. It would literally turn people into zombies. Like it was crazy. Because I was in college when that was big, and I remember there were times where I was talking to friends of mine, and they were awake and lucid, but the things they were saying were absolute dada nonsense. Like they, and it's because you drink so much that you're supposed to go to sleep, but now, you know, they've George Romero'd you. Yeah, they've George Romero'd you back to life, and now you're wired and way drunker than anyone should be. But what you just said reminded me, they announced that they were taking the caffeine and the taurine and all the shit out of Four Loko, and it was just going to be like a regular malt liquor, like a Mike's Hard Lemonade or something. And my friend, she was a huge devotee of original Four Loko, so she drove to Columbus, Georgia, and cleared out the liquor store.
Oh, wow.
Bought pallets and pallets and pallets of OG caffeinated Four Loko, to the point where her stairwell, she lived in a townhouse, and her stairwell was all pallets of Four Loko going to the second floor. When
does she get out of jail? I'm assuming that's what that led to.
No, actually, she is my most well-adjusted friend. She's probably got the best job out of anyone I know, and is doing good. But you know, she knows what she likes. This is a person who knows what they like. Gotta respect that. Well, Darwin Finch, do you have anything you'd like to promote?
Sure, you can see me. Oh wait, you can see me online.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, tell them where people can find you on like Twitter and Instagram, and I'm sure you'll announce when you make your big return after the world is done ending.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, everyone's gonna, and their mother's gonna hear about it. Yeah, follow me on Facebook at Darwin Finch, Twitter at Darwin Finch 3, and Instagram at Punk Rock Poindexter. And go and check out Wrestling Pro Wrestling. Check out our YouTube page. Specifically, check out my video, The Nutty Pro Wrestler.
Yes, The Nutty Pro Wrestler was very, very funny. That was
thank you very much.
That was great. Man, yeah, one of the things I'm looking most forward to is getting back and, obviously doing the announcing thing, but also we got to make the sitcom happen. You and
Yes, we do.
You and Watts.
We do. I'm gonna pitch that to Boss Man. I've got a few more projects, so keep on the lookout for those that are gonna hit the interwebs. A couple more videos, another parody as well.
Awesome.
And hopefully, we can get that sitcom going as well.
I'm already thinking of like funny strong guy things for Watts to be doing when you bust in.
I love the idea of juggling cement baths.
Yeah. Well, it was great to talk to you, man. I hope you continue to take care of yourself. And man, yeah, you, me, and Shitty Superman, we got to go to Cracker Barrel as soon as we're allowed to do that.
Go to Cracker Barrel and talk about terrible music.
Yes, absolutely. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later, Darwin. It was good to talk to you, man.
You too, man.
That is our show for today. Thank you so much for listening. Go ahead and follow Carter on Twitter at Carter_Glasscock. Follow Sam at SlamHarder. I am at Rivers Langley, Twitter and Instagram. Find us on Twitter at The Goods Pod and all that good stuff. And we'll see you tomorrow.